I hereby call the meeting to order. And the first thing that we have to do is review and approve minutes for the meeting of January 26th. Now, I'm a little bit confused here. We didn't have a meeting in January because of weather, was that what it was? Or?
We did not have a meeting
On January 23rd. 22nd.
But we did have a conference call on the 26th.
Which I wasn't able to make, so.
Which I just left, so
Yep.
Chris was able to make that. So you do have minutes from the conference call.
Right, which I had here.
Yeah.
So these reports from last month, do we have to go over these?
Only if you want to. Because we didn't have a meeting in January, we never went over those.
Well, do you think?
So that's why I said bring them. It's totally up to you all.
What do you think, guys?
Up to you. If you've read them and you're good and you're, I read them.
I read it back then.
Okay. I just thought.
Let's move on to January 26th.
Oh.
Which we did act on the 26th, and we have to approve those actions, or I guess approve the minutes. It said we made the actions. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so the postponed meeting was held by a conference call, and it was called to order by Vice Chair Chris Conley. Also present were Pat Smith and Lori Favreau, commissioners, and Executive Director Christine Hall. And no one from the public was in the room or on the call. And the business order was to call off bad debts in the order of $1,609.43. It was moved by Commissioner Favreau, seconded by Commissioner Smith to write off the debts, and it was approved 3-0. So that's all we have to do on that, right? Okay, so let's move on to tonight's order of business.
I need to have you move and approve those minutes.
Well, do I hear a motion?
I move we accept the minutes of January 26th.
Any, a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All approved? All opposed? And I will not count because I wasn't there. So it's moved and approved?
Yep.
Done.
You're good.
Where's my gavel?
You want it?
I don't think I need it. Okay, so moving along here. What am I missing here? I'm missing something.
You have a resident and citizen participation.
Yeah, okay, so the resident
You have a resident.
we now have a resident here.
Snuck in.
Can't hear you too well.
You are a resident
Yes.
and you are observing. Okay.
No, I've got something I want to bring up.
He wants to bring something up.
Oh, you want, okay. Well, I guess now it would be time for you to do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a small thing, but it's got to do with safety. Of course, we have a lot of the residents have a hard time getting around. And I feel for them, but I'm wondering about probably you folks sending a notice out to the residents that, especially during a snowstorm, when we're driving in and out of here, and they're midway of the entrance, and we have to wait for them to
Who's them?
get out of the way, you know? That,
Other residents. I asked who them was, it's other residents.
yeah, the residents, local,
People who live here.
my neighbors.
And they're coming in slowly, is that it? And not getting out of your way?
Yeah, I can appreciate that they have a hard time navigating, and,
Are these
I-
people on foot or are they driving in?
huh?
Are they on foot or are they driving in? They're
On
walking
foot.
in?
On foot
Okay.
and with walkers, okay? And, of course, we have to give right away to the pedestrians.
Okay.
But the opening is wide enough there that they could walk to the, instead of right in the middle.
Okay. That's logical, so they should be sticking to what is in effect a sidewalk. Instead of walking right in,
There's no sidewalk right
There
here.
is no sidewalk, and that's a narrow, it's a fairly narrow entrance right there, so.
Well, it's-
would some sort of a sign be helpful? Or keep right, or? What would your solution be? Would it be, you want to put up a sign?
I don't know, I'm asking you for the solution.
Well, I think it's a common access. It's for both
Yeah.
people that are on foot and in a car. And people in cars are supposed to wait for the people that are on foot.
Well, that's what I said. Maybe the driver is supposed to
So what is
give the
the-
right of way to the pedestrians.
Right, and they're not, is it that the drivers aren't, or,
He's saying, I think, that the pedestrians are walking down the middle of the,
Right.
instead of off to a side.
is that it?
And it's in their safety, interest, in the interest of their safety, for them to walk to the side. And they wouldn't walk down the middle of the road.
Well, but this is this is very different. One, it's narrow, and especially in snow or inclement weather, people are more likely to want to be in the middle of the road thinking that it's safer there.
Yes, but the entrance and exit out of here is 2 lanes wide.
Just about.
Yeah, well, there's arrows there that designate exit
Mhm.
and entrance. So it's wide enough for 2 vehicles. So if you could just give a notice that it'd be in everyone's interest for them to walk to the side like they would on the sidewalk.
So would you propose as a solution, we put up a sign, or we propose as a solution that we write? we
Either
put
that
up
or
a
just-
Notice,
Send a written notice to them.
send a written notice. That okay with you?
Yeah, we can,
We'll send a written notice.
I can see people objecting to it because for their safety, they want to be visible and they want to be sort of hugging more to the inside of the,
But they wouldn't walk down the middle of the Fairground Road.
well, I know, but this is a different,
Well,
this
that's
isn't
different.
this isn't a public street, this is an access. And I can understand they're wanting to be more, to not be on an edge of a road, of an access like that. But that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, my last thing, I've only got one other thing, just a quick question. Was it last night you had a meeting for the planning commission for the flat street?
No, we're not building the Flat Street building,
Or you're not?
no,
Oh,
that's the land trust,
so you're still looking for something for?
yes. The Wyndham and Windsor Housing Trust is building the Flat Street building.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, okay. Separate entity.
Yep,
It's
Okay.
not us.
Yep.
Not us. Not you.
not us.
I'll be in touch.
All right,
Thank
talk
you.
again.
Thank you.
Okay, so we now have written reports from the staff, property portfolio manager, property managers. Got one here from Jack Mahoney about Sam Elliott, Ledgewood Heights. They're putting in sprinklers at Sam Elliott. I haven't noticed it yet. And they're putting in new flooring at Ledgewood. And we're buying a new pickup truck. A new vehicle's not gonna be a pickup.
But they're still figuring it out.
We're still working.
Yeah.
Okay. The
Oh,
property,
we need, yeah, I'm sorry.
that's coming up.
Yeah, that's coming up. I got
We've
ahead
got a
of
few
you.
more written reports here. Courtney, property manager, is going to talk about the monthly property management update. And this is where all the people who haven't paid their bills get their names crossed off, so we don't mention them, is that right?
Right.
But the bottom line here is rent collections are improving.
It's that time of year. People are getting their taxes done and starting to pay up. And Courtney is doing a really, really great job of clearing up the accounts
The
due. Yeah,
back reds.
you're doing a great job.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very important. I
Yeah.
mean, let's
It
face
is,
it.
yeah.
That's what we work with. And the Wellness and Services Manager,
Oh.
Chris Hazard.
I need the approval of the write-off.
Well, that's part of this one?
Yeah,
or that's-
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's a write-off of $1,855 for court costs and legal fees. What are they about?
Well, that,
Rent collection?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
that'll
so
be
it's-
rent collection.
It's a normal thing.
Mhm.
We had to do it.
Yeah,
We spent the money, so we have to approve it.
right.
Do I hear a
We'd like
motion?
you to.
I make a motion that we approve it.
A
Do I have a
second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, wellness is the next one.
Yeah,
I'm getting ahead of myself
there you
here. Well, we got anything special to talk about here? We hired a new nurse, didn't we?
go. Yes, she's doing great. We're very happy with her. They've got a lot of stuff going on. I think the one thing that I have to share with you, Christine mentions it, but I wanted to bring this for each of you. No, do you have one, Tom? So I wanted just to, I won't go through it in any detail, but this is the timeline that we're going to be reviewing with residents starting Wednesday.
So the important part here is that
This
Ledgewood
is-
and Moore are going smoke-free,
And Melrose.
and Melrose, and the reason is that we basically have been directed to do so by HUD.
We have been ordered to do so.
Order directed, I'm trying to be.
Yeah, no, we
They
have
told
to do
us,
it.
you
Yeah.
gotta do this.
So this is the time frame. If you just want to see what we're going to do. They've got a lot of, there's a lot going on. They're going to have smoking cessation programs, all kinds of things. They've got a countdown newsletter that'll be going out. For you, I wanted to remind you that we have changed the meeting room locations.
Yes, I got that.
So,
We swapped two of them.
yes, so March is going to be at Hayes Court because that's set up for you to take resident and public comment on the smoke-free policies and the maps. And we needed a bigger room, just in case a lot of people come.
I would bet my left arm that a lot of people are gonna show up.
Well, we'll see. We're going to be meeting with everybody. We've got some good maps. It's not something that is being done voluntarily, so.
Well, I do know this secondhand. It's very difficult to give up smoke.
It is.
Very difficult. And of course, they don't have to give it up.
No,
And in Elliott, it seems to be working well, that the people who smoke are going down to this designated smoking area, and they've developed their whole little clique, if you will,
Yeah.
of just meeting each other and smoking, so it's turned into a kind of a social event.
yeah.
And I'm sure something like that is gonna happen here too.
Well, so I gave you the timeline. I wanted to remind you about the switch and the meeting places. And then at the very end is the actual proposed policy. And the language for this comes pretty much out of the federal regulations. And then in the very back are the two items that will be added to the lease as an addendum starting May 1. One of the things that we put in that is not in the,
Chris, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for the interruption.
no problem,
Okay, thanks.
we put in a reminder about marijuana. We thought that would be a good thing, just to remind people that this is federal policy, it's still a controlled substance.
So
It's
medical cannabis can be used under certain circumstances?
not if you can't smoke it, no.
You can't smoke it,
Right.
but you can
You
take pills
can
or...
take pills,
Yep,
yeah,
yeah,
yep,
okay.
you just cannot smoke it. And recreational use
It's totally
is
prohibited.
totally prohibited. right.
Shucks.
So I added that in here just to remind people that, you know, that is the federal law.
That's a good thing with
Like
that,
that.
that new state law just
Yeah.
being passed.
That's
It's a
why I
good
did
thing.
It is a
Yeah.
good point, yeah, 'cause,
Because the way this is set up, and we'll bring you, we have some very big maps of more important Hayes, or Moore and Ledgewood in particular, is that we've moved everybody 25 feet from the buildings, except where to move them 25 feet, put them in the middle of the roadway.
you know what that?
And so the federal rule says 25 feet, but you also have to make sure that people are safe. So what we've done is put people on sidewalks and said you can't smoke up against the building, you can't smoke on your walkway, you can't smoke on your lawn in front, so you have to go out to the sidewalk. And in some areas, that is not 25 feet. We know it, but
But it's more logical.
we have to come to some, you know,
Yeah.
way to do this that is reasonable and doesn't mean people that want to have a smoke in the front yard have to stand in the middle of the Ledgewood Road. So you'll see that when we show the maps. This is just a summary of the maps and in terms of the exterior. And certain areas are absolutely no smoking. Play areas, basketball courts, tetherball courts, any place where the summer food program or any food program goes on, in front of the community rooms. So those kinds of spaces, no smoking. And so we try to design maps that, you know, get this all worked out in a rational and sympathetic way. So we'll see. What we're doing is, and this is important for you to know, we are set up everything to be effective May 1. So when you take your action, all this, the hearing notices, everything, effective May 1. And then our intention is to work with residents from May until July 30 to work out the on-the-ground.
Some details
Yeah.
that nobody even thought of in advance.
Right. I mean, right now, we can't go out and spray a yellow line on the grass to say this is what 25 feet is.
Yeah.
So we sort of have to wait. But we do want to have that time between when the policy goes into effect, where we can really work with the residents on, in terms of what's working, what isn't working. We are not designating any smoking areas. We just have the 25 feet and beyond.
Okay, so it's not gonna be a
So-
designated area like we have at Hayes or.
Right, we're not doing
Really?
that. But we might find out that the tenants want us to do that. They may want us to put up a gazebo or, you know, a little place somewhere. And so this gives us time to work on that with them.
So there will be several meetings to inform the people?
Oh yeah, we're starting this week.
Get the feedback
Yeah.
and, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so we're going to start this week, and then just, as I said, this timeline, every month there'll be conversations, there'll be classes, and the wellness and services people, along with the property management people, will be talking with residents right along about how we can do this. And then once we can actually get on the ground and measure 25 feet out from the buildings and show people what that looks like, I think that'll be very helpful. Right now, it's sort of hard to say, you know, march out 25 feet, you know. So,
Will we be providing anything like the patch or anything like that?
well, they are bringing in a lot of the prevention people that have, and I don't know if they have the patch, what the Vermont Public Health Department.
These are the health
but
people
they-
that are gonna be coming
Yeah,
in.
they
They know what
do
to do.
provide things,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I think they do provide patches.
we want to help people if they
Sure.
want to be helped, and otherwise, we just have to put the rule in place, and it's really no smoking in the apartments, and then really, it's really around don't smoke where the kids congregate and that kind of stuff. So you'll see the maps. We're going to present them this week to the residents, and if there's some really horrible glitch in them, then I'll fix them up before I send them out. So that's the story.
Chris, how will you enforce the in the apartment piece?
With great difficulty. What we have found in Vermont is that legal aid has taken the position that we cannot enforce this lease provision unless we physically see the tenant smoking in their apartment.
So you can't just smell it.
Nope. And you can't use a detector machine, you can't, nope. Their legal position, and they've gone to court on it, is you gotta see it. And I do know that a housing authority eventually did evict somebody, and that's because every time maintenance went into her apartment, she sat there with her cigarette and said, I don't care what you guys think. So they were able, in that case, to actually take the action. But it's a really, really hard thing to enforce.
Yeah, that's one of the complaints that some of the people at Hayes Court had.
Absolutely.
Was they know there's people smoking and no one will do anything about it. And
We do all we can.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
for
do
what?
all we can, and unless we actually see the person. I mean, and, you know, if Courtney goes into an apartment and there's an ashtray there and it looks like they're smoking, she'll write them up, you know, but it's a tough one, and frankly, I think my property people have a lot more important things to do than chase after something that's really gonna be so hard for us to make a case on unless we see it.
Well, it makes a certain amount of sense there, you know. There's an old joke about New York City where the woman calls up the police and says, there's a man walking around here without any clothes on. And they send the cop over there to look at him. He looks out the window, I don't see anybody. And she says, here, he's up on the 14th floor, take my binoculars. So for what it's worth,
that's about it.
I haven't been smelling anybody in the halls of Sam Elliott for a long, long time, so.
Well, that's good. Hayes is difficult because there's not a lot of insulation there. So here, it's real, because of the air handling system, if somebody smokes in their apartment here, it's gonna come out through ventilation systems, through the whole building. So,
Somebody will say something.
oh yeah, we'll smell it. Yeah, and we have security cameras.
You have what?
Security cameras here.
Yeah.
So we would be likely to see somebody, not in their apartment.
So
All right,
so we
what's
have a
that?
new nurse, and you mentioned that she was coming along. Well,
Great. Yeah.
Bernie was here.
Bernie was here,
Oh, yes.
and people were happy to see him.
Yeah.
Excited is the word to use.
They were, but they were very shy.
Were they?
And, yeah.
Around
very-
Bernie?
I know.
You know,
We were like,
he's
But the two takeaways we had, and Pat was here, one, we thought that Bernie is now bigger than ever, you know, he's sort of bigger than life. And the other was that it struck me that SASH is so embedded in the life here, that when Bernie said, so what makes SASH special, it was like, well, I don't know, you know, what makes, you know, I get my...
Christine makes it special.
Yeah, the person makes it special, but, you know, I wanted to prompt people and say, well, what about your smooth transfers from hospitals to here? And, you know, those things that now just happen so smoothly. And 2 years ago would have been, you know, or 5 years ago would have been really difficult. And now it's just sort of, it's part of life. You know, they have the coffee and they do these things and they have these workshops and they just sort of feel like it's part of being in Red Clover. So it was interesting.
moving along. Got anything particular to say about what Lorelai's doing? I
No,
know
other than
she's
she's
been having a
doing
calming corner
great.
at my
Yeah.
house, which I have not attended, I should.
You need calming.
Yep. And Lucy is doing Family Services Coordinator, and that's coming along.
Yes.
And we got a new person that I don't really even recognize as Shauna. I know the name, but I don't think I would
She's our,
recognize her.
yeah,
Support Services and Home Coordinator.
she's our full-time SASH coordinator, principally at Hayes Court and community districts.
Okay.
She's really
So
doing a
you've
nice
got
job.
movie and popcorn going, huh?
Yeah, and they've got different outings to different places, so.
Well, it looks good tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? That's this weekend. Valentine's Day social with homemade strawberry smoothie. Sounds good. So I guess we've covered the resident and wellness services. So we got the housing choice voucher program. Is there anything going on there that we should know about?
No? I don't think so.
Yeah.
The one piece, this gentleman mentioned the land trust new building on Flat Street. And we have committed to putting in 6 project-based vouchers into that building. So that'll be a big help.
That's a help, sure it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And I skipped this one, I overlooked it, but it's the year of the dog and the Chinese New Year. That's from the Sash Flag.
Yeah. Thought your dog would like that.
I'll have to tell him. I
Yeah.
haven't told him that.
Wish him happy New Year.
Yeah. Get a new bone. And Valentine's Day is tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah. And surplus care and transitions. Anything going on there? Well, we've got the Section 8 vouchers you just mentioned.
Yeah, and Shelter Plus Care is doing well. We're looking for additional human service agencies because Groundworks has been really pretty much at its maximum in terms of case management. And the transitions to housing, we initially were told that the Secretary of the Agency of Human Services was not going to put this in his budget. But we have now learned through some advocacy by our senator and others that it appears that it is in his budget and they will be able to keep this program.
Good. This is an important program, really.
Very important.
It's helping people get into their own homes.
Well, it's taking homeless folks and getting them into
Oh,
apartments.
the homeless
and then,
people, okay.
And then giving them wraparound services so that they can then move into public housing or Section 8 or a window house.
Well, we've got here the invoices that have been paid. And as usual, the biggest ones are for Green Mountain Power. We've got another one, this time is First Light. That's the internet service
Yes,
provider, isn't it?
that's
They
SoberNet.
just changed their name, yes,
Mhm.
overnet.
And we are getting rid of them.
Oops.
We're changing that service.
Well, I'm not gonna ask you why.
So,
Monthly check listing, we just covered. And check signing. February's
Yes.
gonna be Pat, that's now.
and I didn't have anybody from March.
I don't think we noticed anybody for March and April.
I did January.
We've got a kind of a progression here, don't we?
I know.
Matt's doing it now.
Who's
I
next?
can do March.
Can
We're
you,
gonna
Don?
do
That
March.
would be wonderful.
And I guess I'll do April.
Okay. And as soon as Chris is back on her feet, quite literally, we'll look at her. Thank you very much.
So we've gotten through with the regular things, but we have an executive session to go into. Do I
Yes.
hear a motion?
Make a motion. We go into executive session.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody out of here?
Yeah, great.
We're in executive session now.
Okay,